Na sequência, permitam-me apresentar-lhes nosso keynote speaker. Muhammad Yunus, laureado Prêmio Nobel da Paz em 2006, é reconhecido como o pai do banco do microcrédito e do negócio social. Fundou o Grameen Bank e mais de 50 outras companhias em Bangladesh, sendo a maioria delas em negócios sociais. Professor Muhammad Yunus é o destinatário de mais de 50 títulos honoris causa de universidades em 20 países. Ele recebeu 112 prêmios de 26 países, incluindo honras de Estado de 10 países. É um dos 7 indivíduos no mundo que receberam o Prêmio Nobel da Paz, a Medalha Presidencial da Liberdade dos Estados Unidos e Medalha de Ouro do Congresso Americano. Vamos receber com muita satisfação para suas palavras o Nobel da Paz, Professor Yunus.
Thank you. Thank you, please. It's wonderful to be here and to see as you enter, sitar is being played. Make me feel at home. It's a wonderful sound that comes out of sitar, comes to cool you down. So it's wonderful to be here. And I just arrived. Actually, I arrived at 5:20 in the morning. And then by the time I got to the hotel, it's about 7:30. And back in business. So when I'm talking, if I'm a little bit inconsistent, you know why. I have to catch up with my sleep. But I'm delighted that I could be here and be with you. And particularly, I should mention that many people probably in Brazil don't know where Bangladesh is. It's a small country somewhere out there on the other side. But people in Bangladesh, in every single village, they recognize something about Brazil. What is that? The flag. Everybody knows the flag. Why? Football. We have a lot of tension when the World Cup comes around. Villages get divided up. In some villages, there's a Brazilian flag flying. Some villages, is an Argentinian flag flying. Some villages, a German flag flying. And you name it, every single flag is there. And not just a small flag. Huge flag. The last time when the World Cup happened, the largest flag was the Brazilian flag, 2 kilometers long. You can imagine how enthusiastic the supporters of Brazil football team is. They don't know much about Brazil, but they know every details of every single player in the Brazil team. So that's the country I come from. So it makes me very excited that I come to Brazil. I have been here several times before, but this is for a very special reason this time. To be a participant in launching of the Yunus Social Business Center. It's a very unusual honor for me to be named along with the center, and something that I believed in, something that I worked all my life, is social business. So I'm very grateful to all of you, and particularly the board and the management of ESPM, and for make it happen. And then also saying that not only you have created this center for ESPM, you want to make it the hub, the focal point, for not only for Brazil, for the entire region of Latin America. So this is a big commitment, and it thrills me enormously that you make this commitment to yourself. And I didn't push you or anything to do that, but you on your own, you have come to that. And I feel good because I see a lot of possibilities when we start understanding what we can do as an individual, as a human being, to address the problem that we have around us. Sometimes our problems are so enormous, so gigantic, and we individually feel so small, so tiny. We feel, I can't do anything about it. So we carry on our life as if those things don't exist, because I cannot make myself useful in addressing this giant of a problem that we have around us. But then you can do it a different way. Don't get threatened by the enormity of the size of the problem. Try to see how it reflects in one individual. No matter how big the problem is actually based on one individual. If you put one individual to the next, and to the next, and to the next, it becomes hundreds, it becomes thousands, it becomes millions, it becomes billions. Then it looks big. But why not do the other way? Don't look at the billions, just look at one, to see if you can solve the problem for one. If we know how to solve problem for one, we do the same thing. We can solve the problem of 100, we can solve the problem of 1,000, and millions and billions. That's it. So that's how actually I was pushed in. Not that I planned it that way. I was forced that way under the circumstances, under the desperate situation that I was in Bangladesh. And that was the situation in the middle of 70s. When I went back from United States, where I was teaching, back to Bangladesh, because Bangladesh became a new country, an independent country. Bangladesh used to be part of Pakistan. There are two parts of Pakistan, East Pakistan and West Pakistan. 1,000 miles of gap in between. So that eastern part declared itself independent of Pakistan, and it went through a lot of bloodshed, a lot of disasters, and lots of destructions. And finally, at the end of 71, we became an independent country and called ourselves Bangladesh. And I went back to Bangladesh to see how I participate in this new process of building a new nation. And the economy went very bad, absolutely, to the extent that already economy was bad. It's a very poor economy. People are everywhere, extreme poverty. But it got worse. And we had a famine in the country. That's when, here I am teaching economics in the classroom, and I see people dying. So what I did, I thought my economics, whatever I learned, is a meaningless thing in the face of everything that I see around me. It doesn't help me to solve anybody's problem. So my first decision was, forget about what I learned. Why don't I become just another human being, just like everybody else next door? And as a human being, see if I can be of some use to one individual, just one individual. I said, if I can be useful to one individual, I'll feel that I have done something to my life. I've used my life for helping another human being. So that became my ambition, to make myself useful to another individual. And the university was located right in the middle of the village. So you can just cross the university boundary and be with the people in the village. So I did that. Every day I will go to the village, I'll do something, to find something to do on that day. A lot of little things I did. But what I gained, I had a better understanding of people. While I'm in the classroom, I talked about people, the consumers, the investors, and all this, the entrepreneurs and all that. But I never understood what the people are. So here I see individually, because I'm trying to see some way to make myself useful to another person. So I have to understand that person. And I saw a lot of things. I learned a lot of things, which I never learned before. Then I saw loan sharking in the village, giving tiny loans to people, and the process grabbed or controlled the whole life of the person for a tiny little money. And it shocked me. Such an ugly thing that is done in the name of lending money. It's so terrifying that when you come face to face, you cannot understand how a human being can be so cruel to another human being. And a person is a destitute person. And the person who is lending money is not a rich person either. He or she has a little bit of money. The other person doesn't have any. Then I started realizing what a big problem it is. It's not just a problem of this village. It's a problem of the whole country. Problem of the whole region. Problem of the whole world. It's a huge problem. It's everywhere. And you read about it in the books, you read about it in the stories, in the novels, in all kinds of things. It's so big, you can't do anything. Suddenly it came to my mind, I can do something. I can solve the problem in this village. I cannot solve the problem of the whole world, but I can solve the problem of few people in this village. And the idea was a very simple one. The idea was, why don't I lend the money? So that people don't have to go to loan sharks to borrow money. They just come to me. I give the money. And the problem is solved. And the money involved was so small. It didn't take seconds to figure it out that I can do that. So I said, okay, from now on, I'll give the money. You don't go to the loan shark. So I started giving money from my pocket. Very small amount of money. First loan I gave was a total of $27, given to 42 people. So you can imagine how small, when I say small, that's the kind of money I'm talking about. But the excitement that came, people were so happy. They keep coming to me, more people coming to me. I keep giving my money to people. And I felt happy that I could save them from the control of the loan sharks. And that gradually grew and grew, and I created a bank out of it, called it Grameen Bank. It started in 1976. And as it grew, I thought I should have an institution built on top of it so that it can continue. So created a bank, called it Grameen Bank, or a village bank. And they continue to do that. And it spread all over the country. Today, we have 8.5 million borrowers in that bank, Grameen Bank. And mostly women. 97% of our borrowers are women. Very destitute women in the villages. They take loans for income-generating activity and start earning money and paying back the bank. Very simple things, whatever they know. And gradually, they take more money and move on to the next level and the next level. They improve their life. All the bank does is to lend money. But in the meantime, the whole country changes because you have penetrated in every single family. When I say 8.5 million people, or borrowers, it adds up to about 40 million people. So in Grameen Bank, we have 40 million people. So it's almost 1/4 of the whole country's population. And the bank is owned by the borrowers. So it's not a bank which is owned by big man or rich man or a government or anything. And the bank doesn't take any money from anybody. It takes the deposits from the people and lend the money to the borrowers. And that's how it works. Bank makes profit, profit goes back to the borrowers. That idea had to be described to communicate to other people. So we had to coin a new word. That word didn't exist in the dictionary of English language. We called it microcredit, small loans. Or later became known as microfinance, microcredit or microfinance. So then it is spread all over the world. Every single country in the world now has microcredit programs. So it's a very small idea. Came from the thought, I can do it. I don't have to wait for anybody to tell me what to do. I can do it by myself. Once it worked, everybody wanted to make it happen. We were challenged by some groups of people in the United States. It cannot happen in the United States. It's so different than Bangladesh. I always kept saying every time we come into this conversation, I said it can be done anywhere. Forget about the United States. Any single country in the world. Because banking system doesn't reach out to people. Banking system it works on the top in the sky. It doesn't come to the ground. So almost 2/3 of the world population have no access to the banking system. So they are left to the loan sharks. And I kept telling that even United States have lots of loan sharks. They call themselves payday lenders. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's everywhere. And it's $1 trillion business, lending money to people. And the payday lenders, they charge interest rate 500%, 1,000%, 2,000%, 3,000%. And that's how they flourish. So I said, okay, I can do that. So I was challenged to do it in the United States. In 2008, in January, we began our program in New York City, called it Grameen America. And started doing exactly we do it in Bangladesh. Today, in 2013, we have 6 branches in New York City with about 12,000 borrowers. 100% are women. Average loan is $1,500. And they're so happy to have that $1,500, even to have $500, $700. Nobody would give you that money. So now it's expanding. And seeing the success of our work in New York City, other cities started coming in. Omaha, Nebraska, they said, we want this. So we started a new branch in Omaha, Nebraska. Then came Indianapolis. So we have another branch in Indianapolis. Charlotte, North Carolina, another branch there. Now we have Los Angeles, San Francisco, now coming Detroit, and so on. So same idea, same principles. So what you come up with, a simple idea, can have application across. And that's what the point I was making. That is, if you focus on little ones, one individual at a time, you find out the real significance of that problem. Where does the problem come from? Then you find the cure for that problem. If it works, then you discovered something. It is applicable for everybody. So while I was doing this work, microcredit, I saw other problems. Credit is not the only problem of the poor people. There are so many other problems. Health problem is a big problem for the poor people. Being poor and being poor in health comes together. It's not a separate thing. So we wanted to address the health problem, housing problem, education problem for the children, sanitation problem of the families, and many other issues. Even the cooking stove they use. Every time I see a problem, and I try to see if I can solve the problem of few people. And when I try to do that, one became a habit with me. I create a business to solve a problem. Like when I tried to do the lending from my pocket, my first thing, that what can I do it in a business way, meaning that I cover the cost. And that's why I created a bank, to make sure it becomes an institution. It can go on expanding itself. So every time I try to address any problem, I create a business to do that. And I keep on addressing problem, I keep on making more and more companies. Every time I do a company, I try to solve the problem of few people. If it works, it goes on and on. To give an example, In total, I have created more than 60 different companies in Bangladesh, and all dedicated to solving one problem or another. One problem that we wanted to solve, we have problems of cataract, an eye problem with the cataract. So we created a cataract hospital. Hospital is capable of 10,000 cataract operations per year. We did it in the village so that people don't have to come to the city, where it's too troublesome to come to the city to do that. And it's very expensive to do that. So we created it in the village and made it in a way so that it covers all its cost. Even the poorest person can go in and get the cataract operation done for almost like $1 or something, so that we get the same lens, same surgeon working on them. And then we do the people who can afford to pay, we charge the market price and we make money. We cross-subsidize the poor people so that nobody is refused from the cataract hospital. It took 4 years to come to the break-even point for that hospital. Then we feel very encouraged. Why don't we create a second hospital? So in another area, we create another hospital. That came to the break-even point in 3 years. So we created the third hospital. Now this is going on, the third hospital, and fourth hospital is under construction. Because each hospital runs by its own money. It doesn't have to bring any money from outside. And that's the type of company that we created over time. And what we do, we have defined this as a new category of business, call it social business, the subject that we have today. We defined it as a non-dividend company to solve human problems. And take the case of this eye care hospital. It was not built to make money for anybody. It was built so that it can run by itself. It covers all its costs. It makes profit. Profit stays with the company. Investor can take back the investment money. If I put $1 million in one eye care hospital, I can get back my $1 million over time. So when we have 5 of these eye care hospitals running, they will be gradually paying back their investment money. The investment money that will be coming each year from all these 5 companies, each year we can create another hospital out of that money. So it will keep on expanding without anybody giving any money from outside. So that is the power of social business. We could have done it, eye care hospital, as a charity hospital. We always do that. Whenever we face some health issue, we go and donate money, create a charity hospital so that people can have the treatment, we feel good. The one limitation of charity hospital, or one limitation of charity in general, in charity, money goes out, does a wonderful work, money doesn't come back. So you want to do the same thing again, you have to raise money to keep it running every year. So you are always running around to find money to run it next year. And sometimes you are successful, sometimes you are not. You get very depressed, you get very disheartened that people are not supporting you. And also it's limited. You cannot do it again, another one, because you have trouble finding money for one hospital. So having another hospital doesn't make sense to you. But social business does it a different way. It does in a way, in a social business, you send the money to do the job, it does the job, and it comes back. You send it back again, so it does the job again. So same money is used again and again and again. So it becomes very powerful. You are not dependent on anybody. You created a machine which runs by itself. It doesn't need any fueling from outside. And that is the strength of it. And we continue to expand that businesses over and over again. And Bangladesh now is spreading in other countries also. We talk about poverty, unemployment, and many other problems that we have. And I see poverty is not created by poor people themselves. Poverty is created by the system that we have built ourselves. The way we have created the framework conceptual framework of everything within which we operate. That is the cause of poverty. Poverty is caused by institutions that we have built. That is the cause of poverty, not the person who is poor. The person who is poor is the victim of poverty. He is not the cause of poverty. Poverty is not something which is coming out of the person. Poverty is something is imposed on the person from outside. Take the case of banks. Why shouldn't banks lend money to poor people? In the beginning, in the early days, they used to say, oh, it cannot be done. Now it is done. It's done everywhere. It's a tremendous experience all over the world. Still, banks didn't change. Microcredit is a separate story, as if data story has nothing to do with the bank themselves. So why not? Why can't open their doors so we can do banking for everybody? But institution, the way it has been designed, doesn't let them do it. So it's a design fault. It's not the people are bad people in banks. Simply the way it is designed, it makes it reluctant to come out of their own fold. So remain attached to wherever they are. It's a very funny way they do it. At least to me, it looks very funny. And I used to tell them that, I said, look, I don't understand what you do, because bank is supposed to lend money to people. But you do it in a very funny way. You lend the money to people who have lots of money. And you don't lend money to people who don't have money. I thought you should have done the other way. We should have lent money to people who don't have money. And after you have done that, then you to consider the other people who have money. So it doesn't sound logical to me, but somehow you created an illogical institution, and you are getting away with it. And you create problems for other people. In many times, the financial crisis and other things that happen is a creation of the very same institution which common people have nothing to do with, but they suffer for it. And then conceptual framework. We say, look, in our conceptual framework of capitalist system for which we all belong to is again very interesting. It misrepresents human being. I said it misrepresents because in that conceptual framework, you have a business world where all are asked to go and make money. And that is the only meaning of business. If you are in business, you make money. So money becomes the center, the very focus of your whole life, that you want to make money in a business. So it becomes a habit. Money became the king, master of our life. It is supposed to be means, but it became a king, commands us. And money has become a kind of addiction. We cannot get away from it. How did it happen? Because that's the way we designed. I said, that's a wrong interpretation of human being. This is not human being supposed to be. First of all, to me, it's a very simple thing that human beings are not robots. That's very clear to me. But the system has converted us into robots. We don't look at it that way because every day we are enjoying what we do. But if you look from outside, you look at people, they behave like robots. They're just going blindfold to make money. They have to make money. They go crazy if they won't make money. So, are we supposed to be robots, money-making robots? No, we are not. Human beings are not single-dimensional, but the structure has created us single-dimensional. We are basically multidimensional people. We have lots of things in us, but the theory has blocked all the doors for us. All we can do is make money. Then the theoreticians who believe in that, they say, okay, if you want to go outside of that door, why don't you go outside of business and be a philanthropist and give away your money? That door is always open. And I said, no, I don't want to go outside of the door and be a philanthropist. Because in philanthropy, my ability is very limited. I can give away my money, it goes, and I have nothing left. I cannot do anymore. I want to remain in the business world and do the things I want to do. I'm not interested in making money. I want to do things happening in my life, in my world, in a different way. And they said, this is the only business we got. And I explained, that business that you're talking about is based on our selfishness. We want to get everything for us. That's the whole drive of profit motive. We want to draw things to us as an individual. I said, what about our selflessness? We are selfish as well as we are selfless. Why can't I express selflessness in business? What do you mean? I mean, I want to do business to do good to others, not to me. Because selfish business is to doing good to me, ignoring doing good to others. So I want to create another kind of business which is doing good to others without paying any attention to myself. And that is my expression of selflessness. And I'm a selfless person. Every human being is a selfless person. It's all there. They said, no, you're not right, because people are not selfless, they are selfish. I said, you made us selfish, because you crossed out the selfless part of us. You open it up and give people option. How can a theory take away our option? Because even in the capitalist system, they pride that this gives option in theory. But actually, it doesn't give option. It gives only one business. I said, give option. So people decide whether they would like to do it for money or do it for helping other people, solving problems. It's a choice. In business school, we'll be teaching all our young people that there are two kinds of business. One business to make money, one business to solve problems. And then let people decide which direction they want to go, whether they will create a social business or create a profit-making business, or should they work for a social business, work for a profit-making business. It's up to them to choose. So there is nothing extraordinary about it. Nobody is forcing that everybody has to do social business. Nobody said that. Said this business is a valid business because it covers the cost and brings the money back. So now that idea is catching up, other countries are starting, and like you want to study in the Social Business Center, to bring the young people to study that, and bring the business people to look at it, and create more and more social business. We are not saying close down all other business. No, then again you're taking away options. Keep all the other companies as they are, but alongside, every company, every person can create a social business. And the world will be a very different place, because if you can start addressing one problem at a time, one slice of a problem at a time, all the problems will disappear very soon. It can happen. We were invited to do social business in Albania. So we went there. And they have been very friendly, want to help set up social businesses, and we are doing that. We had done several social businesses. One is very interesting. It applies to anybody's case. There was a German company who started, he's a construction company, he's a real estate company. They were given the contract to build a huge office building structures over several acres of land right in the center of Tirana, capital city. So the German company came, started this construction, beautiful buildings one after another coming up. It's all office space for the whole thing. They couldn't find plumbers. They couldn't find the electrician in Tirana. So they brought all their plumbers, electricians, mechanics to do the construction work so that they can finish the job on time, all from Germany. So at the time when they are about to finish, the discussion began, who is going to maintain these buildings? Because when the job was over, they will go back. German company will go back, German plumbers will go back, German electricians will go back. Then people who are involved in social business in Tirana, they discussed with them, and the idea was, why don't you create a vocational school, vocational training center as a social business, so that the young people from Albania can become very good German quality plumbers, electricians, and mechanics, and everything that you need. And that graduates from this school will be able to maintain your facility. Otherwise, these buildings will fall apart very soon. It will be non-functional. They liked the idea. They wanted to invest. So they created a social business. It's a social business. They didn't want to make money out of it. All they wanted to do is to create something which will give them their money back. At the same time, people will have good quality training to become plumbers, electricians, and everything else. Now this is about to begin, and we are very happy in launching this institution. Prime Minister was there. It's a big ceremony. And this speech, Prime Minister said, very interesting thing. He said, I'm very happy that you created this, because if you see some gathering of Albanian people in one place, say there are 100 people Albanian in one place, you'll see at least 25 lawyers among them. But you will not find one plumber. You will not find one technician. You will not find one electrician. That's how our society has become. We have lots of unemployed people, and we have lots of work needed to be done, but we don't match with each other. So people remain unemployed, and we have to bring people to do our job like you did in your building. So this is the challenge. People are there. Work is there. Simply we are not matching them one-to-one, because our business idea is to make money. We are not looking at the problems. So if you're making money, there are such other interesting things to make money. Why you want to go to vocational school? But the moment you have a social business idea, suddenly you see this is a thing that we can have a vocational training center and make it happen. So now this is an idea. And there are so many other things, like we are having problems in Haiti. We are again invited to do something in Haiti about social business. So we went there. Haiti has a very strange economy. Most of the people are unemployed, hardly anything to do, but so many things to be done. There is no matching between the two. People without work, there's a lot of work waiting to be done. This is a problem everywhere. You go village after village, people have hardly anything to do. And then we are told they import chicken, they import eggs from Dominican Republic. Dominican is just the other part of the same island. So we are saying, why don't you produce it yourself? Why are you bringing it from your neighboring country, Dominican Republic? So it's easier to import rather than produce. I said, then you never build your economy. So we are trying to see how to do that. And luckily, one company from Brazil was very interested in doing social business. BRF. They're good in making chicken and making eggs. So we joined hands. We said, okay. They said, well, I invited him to come and do it with us in Haiti. And they're very happy to do that as a social business, meaning that they will never make any profit out of it. They will only reason they were going to do, it solves people's problem. So now that company is about to launch its work. And at the beginning, I'm telling them, one of the challenging tasks for the new company would be to export eggs and chicken to Dominican Republic so that we can get finally even. And everybody in the village has something to do and work on the project itself. So this is how the social business idea keeps coming. There are plenty of things. Anybody can spend 5 minutes, can come up with 5 different ideas. Just question of putting the direction in which to think. So I hope this center that we are creating will help people to think and come up ideas and create things one after another, small social businesses. Along that, we need a social business fund so that when people create an idea, they don't have to, where am I going to get the money? So the fund will say, here is the money, come up with the ideas, we'll be co-investor in your company. We'll invest in your company, you do the job, we'll be your angel investor, and you create that company, solve the problem. And if you expand, our money will come and join you to expand and make it happen. So that's what the beginning of this center is all about. And I'm delighted that this initiative has taken place. I hope this will prove its worth, that yes, we can all solve our own problems around us. And if we solve our problem in our neighborhood, the whole world will come to learn from us. Because the problems around the world is the same thing. When you can solve it here, the world will come to learn from you. How did you do it? And you become the world leader to show the path to the solution. And we can, in the process, we can create a completely different world where you don't have all those problems. We come up with solution after solution. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Nossos agradecimentos ao professor Yunus por sua brilhante apresentação. Lembramos que do término da palestra até às 12h30, no auditório Renato Castelo Branco, ao lado da sala de estudos, o professor Yunus concederá entrevistas à imprensa. Chegamos então ao momento em que nossos convidados poderão fazer uso do microfone para suas perguntas ao professor Yunus. Lembramos também que o evento de hoje está sendo transmitido simultaneamente para as unidades da ESPM no Rio de Janeiro e em Porto Alegre. Reforçamos que as perguntas em português deverão ser feitas ao microfone colocados à disposição do público por nossas colaboradoras. A palavra está livre em nosso auditório.
Bom dia. Professor Yunus, uma pergunta. Aqui. Meu nome é Clarice, sou professora aqui da escola. O microcrédito no Brasil está dominado pelos grandes bancos, Bradesco, Itaú e por aí vai. O senhor acha que há possibilidade de se fazer, de fato, um serviço social quando isso está nas mãos de grandes bancos? O senhor falou que estaria numa divisão separada, mas ainda assim, o senhor acredita num social business, de fato, nas mãos de grandes bancos? Obrigada.
That's a good question, because if this is a profit-making company, immediately suspicion comes, maybe they are making profit out of these poor people, and we don't want to see that. Good thing would be from the company, from the banks, to create a separate social business company, so that their accounts are completely separate, so that they can do it independently as a parallel subsidiary, not within the company itself, and this will be designed as a social business. So no profit will come to any owner. Simply it will be recycled within the system itself. That's the best solution. But I will not say every bank which is doing it is up for money or something, but there's always suspicion, lingering suspicion, maybe they are doing that. And also keeping it within the main bank has a limitation, because your staff are trained to do one thing, now they are asked to do something else, which they are not familiar with. So if you have a separate parallel body, it's much easier. You have a separate group of people who would be working for that. So that makes it more stronger.
A impressão que se passa é que, ao invés dos bancos, com seus microcréditos, irem ao público-alvo, eles estão fazendo o contrário. Eles estão criando pequenas agências e pedindo para que essas pessoas vão às suas agências. Então, ao invés de otimizar o microcrédito, eles estão tentando aproximá-los ao médio crédito, ao grande crédito. Qual a sua opinião?
I shouldn't go more in details of that because I don't know exactly the operation. But my own preference is to go to the poorest people, those who need the most desperate need for financing, rather than go for a mid or bigger loans and so on and so forth. I'm not saying mid-level loans are not necessary. They're necessary too. But the priority would be to go to the poorest and to reach the people who need a very small amount of money. And that's a good beginning coming from the top. Gradually you can move up other way around. Thank you.
Mr. Yunus, here. My name is Marcos Talarico. Really nice to meet you here. Your lecture changed my way to see the world today. I'd like to do the same thing inside all the slums in São Paulo. How can I start today? I'd like to invest part of my time knocking in each door and asking what kind of business the person want to open inside the community. And another two questions. Will the ESPM be one partner of Gremium Bank in Brazil? And where can I see a list of type of business have you opened in the world? Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm very happy to hear what you said. The fact that they created, ESPM created Yunus Social Business Center, this is one contact point right away. They will have connections with everybody else. And there's an entity called Yunus Social Business, and someone who's responsible to help person like you to get connected and get more information. And Rogerio is here. Can I introduce you? Can you stand up? He's responsible. So you two get together. There's incubation, how to produce, help people come up and do something, and where to find the money. His responsibility also to find the money. Find the right kind of ideas, and his job is to see where the money would be available to invest in the project that you're looking for. And Yunus Center here, Social Business Center here, would be the one who would bring all this information together and analyze it and let other people know, bring the business people to study that and get connected with you, whether they can get joint venture with you. They like the idea, they will say, okay, this will be our joint venture. We give the money, you do the job. And that's how it can be done. So there are a lot of those possibilities. That is the importance of creating a structure. And this is the structure which will help. And Rosario is here to connect all those dots.
Yeah. Muhammad, I will speak in English since you don't have the earplugs. Our students, they are really geared toward social activities. And there is one point that is not always clear in our culture in Brazil. Can I do social business and have a good salary at the same time? I mean, why should people who do social work be poor? They should, in my point of view, they should have a good career doing good.
It's a good question, because doing social business doesn't mean I have to be hungry. I should do it with joy, with happiness. Only thing we're saying is a non-dividend company. It's not non-salary company. It gives you a good salary, just like your market salary. So you'll be, social business should be competing with profit-making businesses in hiring you. If they want to offer you this, we'll match you with that. It's up to you to decide whether you want to work for us or you want to work for them. That's up to you. So it's in the same marketplace. So salary is not something banned in social business. So as I said, it's a non-dividend company, not a non-salary company. We pay salary, and we have 7 principles of social business. And one of the principles is that the people who are at the lowest part of the salary, at the bottom salary in the company, they should get better salary than the profit-making companies, because they are at the lowest end. So they feel happy that they are working in the social business. After all, social business doesn't mean they deprive you and give it to somebody. No, that's not the intention. Intention is you provide all your creative power and make things for other people. So we are not compromising on your salary or in your facilities and so on. So that part is guaranteed. It's a business, just like any other business, in giving salaries and so on. And then on top, is you are happy, not only you get the salary, also you solve people's problems. That's extra satisfaction you get. This is additional thing. Thank you. Yeah, okay.
Hi, thank you for the lecture. I would like to know your opinion about when we study social business, we talk a lot about social entrepreneur. But you talked about many companies, large companies with partnership with Grameen. So what's your opinion about the social entrepreneur inside large companies?
Social entrepreneur is somebody who takes the initiative to address a social problem. It can be done in many, many ways. Social entrepreneurs can create a for-profit company for themselves, but it's still a social entrepreneur. But when we say social business, it's a non-dividend company. So it's a separate section of social entrepreneurship, where you don't want to make any money for yourself as an investor, unlike social entrepreneur, which is wide open. Social entrepreneur may not be a business at all. It still be a social entrepreneur. So it's a much broader subject, social entrepreneurship. It could be no business. It could be business for profit making. It could be business for social business, non-dividend company. In any case, it could be a social entrepreneur. So social entrepreneur will not directly take you to a social business. Only a subset of social entrepreneurship is in social business. The characteristics of social business is non-dividend company to solve human problems. That's where social business is all about. Okay.
Professor, se me permite, o senhor reconceitua o capitalismo dentro de uma dinâmica própria do século XXI, inspirado, basicamente, no valor social que o empreendedorismo pode gerar e pode provocar de soluções positivas para as realidades tão dramáticas que temos nos nossos países, de diferenças sociais muito agudas. Desenvolvimento econômico mais educação são uma química que leva a um mundo melhor. Possibilitar o indivíduo a percorrer essa estrada é tudo que deve ser feito. A busca do lucro, mas o lucro na ideia do reinvestimento do lucro, do resultado no próprio negócio, é o que eu pude extrair do desenho do negócio social. A pergunta que se faz, ao emprestar um valor a um indivíduo, se exige dele que pague o que foi lhe oferecido. Quanto às experiências que o senhor tem vivido, a taxa de inadimplência, de não pagamento, como se comporta? E 2, a experiência que o senhor viveu em Bangladesh, em que momento o governo, o poder público, apoiou ou não apoiou, ou foi a mão invisível do mercado de Adam Smith com a visão social que levou adiante o Banco Grameen? Se bem entendi, essa que é a visão principal. Emprestar para empreender, para multiplicar, para dar oportunidade, para libertar as pessoas. Então, era essa pergunta que eu ia fazer, sobre inadimplência e apoio de governo. Obrigado.
Yeah. On the default rate, Grameen or microcredit became famous because default rate is so low. We have 8.5 million borrowers in Bangladesh. We are working there for 37 years. Our default rate has been below 3% in Bangladesh. And bad debt is less than 1%. So this is the Bangladesh Grameen Bank story. When we worked in New York City, our repayment rate is 99.4%, meaning less than 1% default rate in New York City. No papers, no lawyers, no collateral, nothing. So it's the same story everywhere, wherever you go, microcredit. That's why microcredit became so important, because it works by itself without any collateral requirement, which is a technical subject they got, the conventional bank got stuck with, that they cannot come out of that. So this is one example of that. And about social business and the government role, we always tell the government, you don't try to give any privilege to social business, any tax benefit or any such privilege, special dispensation because you're a social business, you're helping people. We do that because the moment you give some special privilege to a social business, then fake people, wrong people will get in, using the name but not doing the work. So it's good to be at par so that you don't come for the wrong purpose. You do it for the right purpose. So, and the law is there. We don't have a new law. We don't need a new law. It's a company law. In the company law, you create a company, you make profit. Here we decide, our own owners decide, I don't want to take profit. Government has nothing to do with it. It's my private decision. I create a company and I don't want to take profit. And it's, anybody can do that. Government cannot force you to take profit out of the company. So I decided not to take the company. And we don't see it as a small part of the economy. Some individuals are doing that. I see it's a large part of the economy gradually increasing. Today, we are talking about here in Sao Paulo in Brazil, start the social business. Now my question is, are we serious about social business? Then in the next 5 years, What part of social Sao Paulo economy, total economy of Sao Paulo, would be social business economy? My answer is, wherever we are serious, we should aim at least making 1% of the economy of the area to be social business economy. So that whatever is the size of the Sao Paulo economy, 1% is social business in 5 years' time. It's possible. So then gradually see, we want to go to second percentage or third percentage. It's up to us to decide. Again, it's in our mind what happens. You mentioned about the invisible hand. Invisible hand doesn't work by itself. There's a mind behind it who guides this invisible hand. If you don't have that mind, invisible hand is useless. It doesn't do anything. So we finally control the invisible hand. Invisible hand is a competition, everything got. But what is the thing that I'm competing with? I'm competing with making money from each other, or I'm competing to solve problem with each other. This is us to decide. Then invisible hand works according to what you want. Invisible hand is working, but only if we decide. Today, invisible hand wants how to make more money, how do I push my competitor out of my front, and I occupy the space that he is occupying. That's what the invisible hand is helping to do, because that's what I have in the back of my mind. If I said, no, I will be creating social business, and I'll see how to help other companies to create social business. And when I'm competitor with you. You do the same thing as I do. You are in a business, shoe business, I'm in shoe business. So we want to compete with each other. My brand, my name, my campaign, and we try to squeeze you, and you do the same thing to me. But both of us are interested in social business, to bring shoes to people who never worn shoes, barefoot people. And when we create a social business for barefoot people, for shoes, then we become partners, because we have the same objective. You have the same as me. So we create a sort of a demilitarized zone where we don't fight anymore. We have no guns with each other. We work together. We bring our technical understanding, our efficiency, to make sure we make very good quality shoes for the poor people, and they can afford it and have it. So suddenly, our relationship in a competitive world is becoming different relationship in a social business world. But both of us are working in the same area.
Professor?
Yeah.
Como que é essa relação de cobrar pelo serviço? Ou o que eu quero dizer? Aqui no Brasil a gente tem, entre aspas, o sistema de saúde gratuito, entre aspas, porque nem sempre funciona. Mas se eu pegar uma favela, por exemplo, e notar que ali a demanda é grande, tem fila no sistema de saúde, e eu abro uma clínica de médicos, eu posso começar o social business cobrando das pessoas e eles financiarem o negócio? Isso é correto nessa nova filosofia, e esse pode ser um caminho? Como é que é essa relação com o cliente, vamos dizer assim? E como que porque eu tenho visto isso na prática, acontece. As favelas e os lugares, eles estão se autofinanciando às vezes, né? E as pessoas ganham seus salários, funcionam, é um negócio.
Like in Bangladesh, health is a state subject. The state is supposed to provide you all the health services. And a large part of our budget goes into health services. So we spend a lot of money, whatever money we got. But unfortunately, health service in Bangladesh works in such a way, all the money that's allocated for health services is consumed by the machine itself. Machine consumes it, it doesn't provide any service. So you have an amazing machine, which you created to provide a service, but instead, machine consumes all the things that you need without providing a service. So you have to have some other options. So the private sector is flourishing. And the private sector is aimed at the rich people, because that's where the money is. So the poor people are left out completely from the state service and also from the private service. So we see a good opportunity to create social businesses to address those people, because they spend a lot of money in wrong medicine. And instead of getting health, you destroy your health. So we are trying to protect them from the wrong treatment, because people spring up all kinds of ideas. You solve it this way, I get you cure. It's a completely wrong cure. So we create a good quality health service, and we create a system where you can pay very tiny amount, and you hold a big, infrastructure. Like one of the things that we did in our healthcare service, one of the healthcare service that we created, social business, health insurance. Very small amount. We require to pay about $3 a year for covering the entire family under healthcare. So you have doctors, you have nurses, you have medicine, everything. You buy the medicine, 25% discount, but for doctors and all the things in the village, so that you get all the service. We have the pathological lab and everything. So this is one way, and we cover all our cost. So people get the service, and we cover all the cost. It's a self-sustaining system. More than that, this is my particular emphasis, it's something which we imitate what the existing system is in a different way, making social business. But all the service providing has to be changed completely. And we are trying to do it, like, for example, one push that we make in the healthcare in Bangladesh and trying to do it elsewhere, to bring all diagnostic services at the person level, at the home level. Nobody has to come to any clinic, any hospital for any diagnostic thing. She remains or he remains where he or she is. Service will be provided there. How? Bring the technology. One of the technology we are focusing on is mobile phone technology. Mobile phone can do everything today. Now, if the mobile phone, each one of us have mobile phone in their pocket, you open it, you touch the icon, and it tells you the weather condition in a city which you've never been or would never be. What is the weather today? What will be weather for the next 10 days, and so on. It gives you right away. I said, if equipment gives you the weather condition is a far-flung city, how come it doesn't give me the body temperature of my body? Why shouldn't? Because that's not how designers decided. Because they wanted to make money. They are not worried about my body temperature. But the technology is available. Now they are coming up because we are pushing them. They're coming up. You get the body temperature, your pulse rate, your heartbeat, whatever you want. Just push the button and it tells you what it is. To the extent now, somebody brought me a sample, the new design, new mechanism. I just hold the new, with the new attachment, and hold the mobile phone with my both hands. And on the screen, you see all these graphs going on. Echocardiogram. Just be wherever you are, anytime you want. Just hold it, download it, and your echocardiogram is done. So you don't have to go to doctors, plug in all those things, sit there for hours, nothing. It's all yours. They're identifying cancer with a mobile phone. Malaria, for blood testing with a mobile phone. Eye scanning with a mobile phone. So we want to make this happen, new technology to go into direction to the people. And our theme is diagnostic services should be costless. Nobody has to pay a penny for any diagnostic services. All my body information can be transmitted with a mobile phone. And it's up to the doctor now to decide, to analyze what the problem I have, so that I get the treatment and so on. Diagnostic service should be available to anybody, anywhere. So that's the direction social business takes us, where the profit making doesn't see that direction. It's a question of direction. In profit making, you're seeing in one direction. You never see the other one. So the moment you're social business, suddenly you see the things which you never done before. Technology is here, but simply we never use the technology, get it done. So that's a changing in the game that is very important for social business. Yeah.
Bom dia, professor. Meu nome é Neuza. Eu trabalho há mais de 10 anos com prevenção de violência contra crianças e adolescentes aqui no Brasil, e vários tipos de violência, abuso, negligência, maus tratos, e gostaria de saber a sua opinião ou a sua experiência em relação a esse tema, que me parece tão sério, muitas vezes quase que insolúvel, né, da violência contra a criança e adolescente e o negócio social. Obrigada.
Yes, it's a very good subject again for social business, violence. In some places we are discussing social business design. Some preliminary designs have been done. Women trafficking, women taken away and put into brothels and prostitutions and so on, and left back again with lots of diseases and so on, how to protect them. So violence is one such thing. Say how to protect children's violence against children, violence against women, violence against any other category of people. So how do you do that? How do you address that? We are also addressed with the problem, not that we have a solution yet. This is the beginning of the process. Violence against, sorry, not violence, is a drug trafficking. How to get people who are involved in drug trafficking, like young people doing the drug trafficking, how to divert them into, make them exciting in other things so that they don't go into doing the drugs and so on and so forth. So these are issues that we understand, we know the problem, and how to come up with a business idea to make those kind of things. Once we have a session, for example, all day, just learning from what others are doing, and suddenly, this looks very familiar. I can do this. This is very simple. We need it in our place. So that's how the idea keeps coming. And I can do better than what they're doing. So this is one idea leads to 10 other ideas. So that's the thing, that when you create a center, this will be a home of ideas. Each one is kind of coming up and following each other. It should be on the website so that I can go into the website and see how many of these problems are being addressed and where. Because as I said, problems are the same all over the world. Whether it's in Bangladesh or in Brazil, doesn't matter. If you know how to solve it in Brazil, we can pick it up to solve our own problem in Bangladesh. It's the same way to do that kind of thing. So yes, it's a very important issue, and it's a global issue. It's not just a one country issue. Thank you.
Hi.
Okay.
Mr. Yunus.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you very much for the lecture today, because it made me keep motivated on doing what I do. So thank you a lot. And I just wanted to ask on the biggest challenges for social businesses today, as I imagine impact measurement, as you are measuring social impacts other than economics, where you have lots of methodology developed, or working on networks so spread around the world without being a multinational or transnational and things like that. So I would like to hear a little bit about that.
This is a completely new area that we have to work on, because we are saying we are creating a business to solve a problem. How do we know at the end of the year, have we done that? What kind of problem we solved? How much of that problem we solved? Are we just touching the surface, or we have gone deep into the problem and solved it? So the nature of it, degree of it, and we have to find out some index where to do that. Because in conventional business, it's very easy to evaluate the success of the company. You look at the bottom line, how much profit you make. The more profit you make, more successful you are. What is the bottom line? A social business will tell us. In our annual board meeting, in a conventional business, we can applaud the CEO. He did a great job. We had a good profit for this year. And we say, can we make more next year? And this is the conversation. But in the social business, what do we ask our CEO? How much of the problem have you solved? And what was that problem? Have we defined the problem at the beginning? Like, for example, we have yogurt we created as a joint venture with Danone to solve the problem of malnutrition among the children in Bangladesh. So every year, the CEO has to say, so many children got out of malnutrition this year. How did you find it out? How did you know that they have done? Have they gone to a medical test or something? So we need to do it in a professional way. It's not just, okay, we are happy it happened. It's fine if it is a kind of a anecdotal thing, yeah, it did. But you need very concrete information. So as we run the social businesses, you have to have parallel all those indicators, all those KPI. So you have to have KPIs everywhere, or the key performance indicators that we have. So this is now a subject that we will be all working together, and that's where business school like ESPM becomes an important place to come up with those things. And it has to happen. It will happen.
Para cumprir, então, o nosso horário, pedimos a compreensão daqueles que não puderam fazer as suas perguntas e uma salva de palmas ao nosso palestrante,